how is crypto affecting commodities. So like you can abstract some commodities, like like gold. Instead of gold you can have like digital gold, or let's say Bitcoin takes and consumes energy because of the proof of work. And actually that's like in an important kind of way how to secure, how to make the blockchain secure. And as we discussed last time, it's still like 50 times more energy efficient than traditional banking.
Yeah.
Because you are abstracting all these like infrastructure, like the ATMs, cash, the bank tellers, the buildings where the bank has to reside. And this is like before abstracting it even like further, or like adding like other kind of important infrastructure pieces of the current like banking system or financial system, which is like it can be summarized in a way that the fiat money is backed by men with guns.
Hello, welcome back to Mtambo podcast. My name is Jakub Mtambo, and the following is a conversation with Jakub Simek, a co-founder of Se2 and an author of Wisdom Enterprising. In today's episode, I'll be talking with Jakub Simek about his article, Community, Cryptography, and Commodity, under the second season of Daily Balajisms series. And now, dear friends, here is Jakub Simek. Jakub, thank you for joining me again at Mtambo podcast.
Hi, Duke. I'm happy to see you again, and I'm looking forward to discussing a next Balajism with you.
It's always my pleasure. Well, let's start with the recent tweet by Balaji Srinivasan. In his tweet, he says that software was eating the world, and now AI has eaten software. Jakub, what do you think about this statement?
Right. So it's Balaji here is referring to Mark Andreessen's famous essay, "Why the software is eating the world." It's published like a long time ago, and Balaji himself wrote another essay like that sounded similar. It's like why. It wasn't why, but it was titled "Software is Reorganizing the World." So the first essay was like "Why Software is Eating the World" by Mark Andreessen, and Balaji himself wrote another kind of viewpoint where he discussed that his concept of the reverse diaspora, which means like people meet in the cloud. So they meet online, and they kind of like they create online community, and the community is like very dense, and then it's being like printed out onto the land. So like imagine like people from all around the world, like Kenya, Japan, Slovakia, creating community around some moral innovation. Maybe Balaji would call it now like a network union. And then the network union gets like printed out onto the land, and a network archipelago is formed, like a gated community, or some kind of like a hacker house, some kind of club, or some kind of like parallel society is the umbrella term here. And so this is like his Balaji's thinking from 2013, and now maybe we would update it with the terminology from his recent book, The Network State. So, but like related to AI, this is his point that software is eating the world, and and the AI is eating software. So it's like and then what will remain? Like the blue checks might be more affected than the blue collar workers. So like the blue checks on Twitter. So it's more like journalists, artists, kind of intellectuals, because now you can write articles with Chat GPT or GPT-4. it's kind of a lot of this like so-called knowledge work is being automated. And Balaji in this tweet is kind of contemplating what will be the last thing standing, like what will be these kind of valuable things like community, cryptography, and commodity, cryptography, and most of all, or the most important of all, community.
Okay, I think it's a brilliant idea. The progress in AI and crypto makes it possible to scale communities and shrink civilizations. It's the Instagram. I mean, it's like the Instagram with a dozen of employees has beaten Kodak with 1,000 times more employees moment, but on steroids. Balaji's idea of network archipelago is an example of how communities can be computable and composable using crypto and AI. But also Balaji talks about how cryptography can visualize commodities. Bitcoin is digital gold and can be viewed also as a virtualized oil or money battery. How do you think cryptography can change the way we view commodities?
Mm-hmm. So okay, so it's like now when we have like these three kind of like things that the AI will not eat, because the as Balaji says, and like it's kind of obvious that the AI cannot like, I don't know, grow food or create cars, like yet. I mean, okay, of course the improvement in AI will like translates into robotics like in a couple of years, like robotic is already quite advanced, but like the things that are easy for us are like difficult for robots, like to open a door handle is like very difficult. So, but of course also this like recent progress in artificial intelligence will get translated into robotics, but it takes like 3 years. But still, like the robots can create, I don't know, new commodities, like, but they can of course help like with, I don't know, mining, they can make getting the commodities cheaper, and so like that's like on the side of AI. And now you can think also from the crypto side, like how can crypto help I don't know, in this area of like how is crypto affecting commodities. So like you can abstract some commodities, like like gold. Instead of gold you can have like digital gold, or let's say Bitcoin takes and consumes energy because of the proof of work. And actually that's like in an important kind of way how to secure, how to make the blockchain secure. And as we discussed last time, it's still like 50 times more energy efficient than traditional banking.
Yeah.
Because you are abstracting all these like infrastructure, like the ATMs, cash, the bank tellers, the buildings where the bank has to reside, and this is like before abstracting it even like further, or like adding like other kind of important infrastructure pieces of the current like banking system or financial system, which is like it can be summarized in a way that the fiat money is backed by men with guns. So it's like you need like all these like aircraft carriers and all these like very expensive military equipment to protect the dollar, or the petrodollar. So calculating all the military or anything, just like focusing on banking, like transactions, like or handling cash, ATMs, it's like 50 times 50x improvement over traditional banking or TradFi. And if you add like layer 2, like lightning, if you consider lightning, it's like million times, it's like million-fold improvement. So like okay, so this is like definitely an improvement here over over fiat money or fiat. but also thinking about or considering some commodities, like you have gold, and then gold was defeated by the state during the FDR era, as we discussed also before. There was this gold seizure bill in the 1930s. So now Bitcoin wasn't yet defeated, and the Chinese wanted to defeat it, and they failed so far at it. So okay, you have digital gold. So like that's another kind of like just like way how to think about like commodities related to crypto, or you can think about it as like virtual oil, or like something, because you need energy to mine and to do the confirmations on a blockchain through proof of work. So or you can think about it as a money battery as well, like instead of like storing electricity in a battery, you store it in Bitcoin, and then you can like buy electricity when it's cheap. So it's like it can actually it helps both renewable energies, and it kind of acts as it stabilizes the grid. It has many like applications, so it's not just like energy consuming in a negative kind of way. But it's, even if it was just like energy consuming, it's like important for the proof of work algorithm, and it's very important because it's and there is also like this novel theory of like how Bitcoin is a projection of power, and how even the nation states will be kind of, instead of using violence against each other, they will like compete through Bitcoin, and through it kind of uses the electric grid, or like decentralized electric grid, as a kind of way to project power, like across the globe. So you can conceptualize Bitcoin or crypto more general in many ways, like looking like in connection with commodities, and you can do the same with community, so like, but I think these things like community, cryptography, and commodity as the things that will not be disrupted by AI, or will be disrupted last. It's like a nice good frame by Balaji, and you can kind of then use it to brainstorm, or to think about like some implications, like connected to crypto, how crypto and AI, let's say, can support community building. That's like another question.
Oh, very interesting. Balaji also discusses the hypothetical scenario where AI can help China to make a pencil, in quotes, meaning that AI can improve and scale central planning. Do you think technology can make previously unviable solutions or ideologies viable?
I think that's like the general point, like also of Balaji, that there are many like noble ideas that are like here with us from since the beginning of the humanity, since the dawn of humanity. But like what makes them viable, it's technology, like I don't know, let's say like if you do some like international transfer of money, it's not viable, let's say, to send like 10 euros or like 1,000 bob, like 1,000 shillings from Kenya to Slovakia through traditional banking, because the fees are like 3,000 bob, or something. So it's like Bitcoin Lightning, it's very viable, and as we discussed, this is like the digitally native solution. And let's say if you use like TransferWise, then it's like the scanner version. And the scanner version is not as reliable because one day it works like within seconds, and the next day it works like it takes 2 days to process. So you can't like rely on it, because it's really it gives you an impression of the ease, the easiness of use as Bitcoin Lightning, but it's actually not. It relies on the traditional banking system. It's just like so this is like now it's called Wise, TransferWise. Before it's a good company, but it's still this scanner version stage, like Revolut or Robinhood, like these kind of companies. But with Bitcoin Lightning, you have the digitally native solution here.
Yeah. Okay.
And sorry, and the pencil. Okay, so Balaji talks about like the China. It's like a short kind of essay within his book that discusses kind of a controversial idea, maybe not, but it's just like that the AI could help China be more successful with central planning. It's like it can like give you like a bird eye view on, let's say, some kind of supply chain. It can make like central planning more viable than before. Let's say the communists like 100 years ago or 200 years ago, they had this ideal and in the 20th century, like 100 years ago, it didn't work out well, didn't work out. But probably like maybe with AI, it could work, maybe not on a national scale, but it could work like the kind of central planning. It could work, let's say, on a city scale or a county scale or something like that, or some kind of cluster scale. I don't know, maybe even on a national scale, but definitely it makes, let's say, it has some negative implications. Of course, it makes like surveillance easier, surveillance of population. But let's say it could make also like industrialization or industrial policy or kind of industrial or business intelligence easier to get, to obtain, and so the central planning might become viable, and so it kind of mean that China would be able to make a pencil by itself. It's just like, because they would get like the god's eye view or the bird's eye view on the whole like supply chain, on all the transactions of various entities, companies. So there's like using AI for like one purpose, like more of a centralization, or scaling some ideas like socialism or communism. Like, let's say Taleb says like, okay, these ideas work, like, let's say, but communism scale, like, like you don't count like how much you gave to who, or you don't give an invoice to a family member, like brother, sister or something, but like it doesn't work on a like city scale or like bigger scales, and so, but AI could change it, it could grow it a bit. So that's the idea behind this like AI could help to scale tribes or bands or like kind of like extended families. Like the things that work in an extended family could be scaled with AI, and also like actually with crypto and like tracking, something like, let's say, social credit, which is like a negative or dystopian idea from China, like everybody's tracked, but if you think about it in a way of like, okay, what are some like crypto to peer, more decentralized, giving, like creating like a community resume. Balaji calls it like community resume, and so this is like where the crypto could come in handy. Like you can have like those credentials be on chain, and they can be portable, so it's like a portable community resume, and and so this makes actually communities computable, because you can now like make calculations on a whole community, like how let's say, especially if you connect like some kind of like fitness trackers to this kind of thing, or if like technically like it could be feasible one day soon, to track like the progress of community. Let's say the community consumes like this kind of media, like information diet, this kind of media diet or information diet, and the community gets like more skills, gets healthier, maybe happier, gets like more fit. Let's say you can then you can see like how many kilometers the community, like what's the average calories that the community burns, or how many kilometers do they what do they run a week, like what's the average or what's the median, how much, what is the income or wealth, kind of thing. Like, and they can disclose like selectively, it could be like partially anonymized, or it could be like pseudonymous, and you have like these zero knowledge proofs. So like that's the idea of like making community computable. And you could like make also this like your personal kind of community resume. You can make it portable. Like, so now we just a couple of minutes before we started recording, we were like playing with like this Nostr protocol, like, and this is kind of the same idea. Like, you can have like your Nostr kind of public key, and you can just use another client or for it. So
okay, that's a great perspective. Lastly, as we wind up this episode, but I think that AI, crypto, and social are the three most important technologies today. They reinforce each other and can have a centralized or decentralized version. Do you agree with him as we wind up?
I think definitely this is the axis where to cut, to make the distinction. So like Peter Thiel talks about how the AI is communist and crypto is libertarian. But you can make the opposite argument as well. Like, let's say the CBDCs are like kind of look more kind of autocratic, and let's say the stable diffusion is an example of like a decentralized AI, like, or open source AI kind of thing. So I think the real distinction is like the centralization versus decentralization axis. And also the Balaji would add maybe re-centralization, and this means like okay, if you have a high trust society, you can actually allow for centralization. So it's like it's like, let's say you trust these guys who are operating this social media company, and so you can, or this community, I don't know, platform, group chat or something, and then you can delegate actually like, let's say your kind of like you can delegate the access, even like really technically, like I was trying like, okay, like with the Nostr, there is this minds.com, and you can delegate you put your like public and private key, and then there is some kind of a delegation token, and I still didn't test it if it works like in reality well, but you kind of delegate it, and then they post it on your behalf, so you post in Minds, but it's also being posted on Nostr. And something similar we did, like also like testing one app with connected to the network state, where you in your Coinbase wallet, you delegate to the app like some access, and so they are posting on your behalf like on a blockchain, it's like the layer 2 Polygon. Layer 2 of Ethereum, and so you don't need to like sign it all the time, or like but they do it on your behalf. But you actually need to have like a high trust in this society.
Actually, also the delegation, also technology. I've seen it on the Reliance, also on the DAO, whereby you can decide to delegate also some of your tokens for to another member to vote on your behalf, or if you're caught somewhere, so that member can vote for you like proxy, So yeah.
I think it is a very like very related concept, I think. So, but I think this is something that I think it's a good idea or important idea, like that. Okay, Balaji talks about re-centralization and building like high trust societies, and actually this is connected together. So you can have some kind of like a smart regulator and competition between smart regulators, as we talk all the time here on this podcast series. Daily Balajisms, like, okay, it's like what you want is like you don't want to have analog regulators in a digital world because it ends up like with Fed and now the fiat crisis and central bank crisis. You also don't want to have like some half measures and this like scanner version of digitalization, because it can create these like digital death kind of scenarios where people think that their banks are digital, but they're only like halfway digital, and it doesn't work. So, but you want to have smart regulators and competition between smart regulators, and they can be on like a small scale, let's say like a city scale, or like the network society. I mean, the network union, startup society, network archipelago. It could be even bigger. I don't know, but I think it's like empirical, or it's to be seen and to be find out empirically, like what is actually the good scale. Maybe it's 10,000 people, it's the maximum. Maybe it's like a 1,000, I don't know, or something in that range. But anyhow, but you can have, if you have like high trust society or platform or application, and you like believe in the founder, then you can delegate your access. That's right. Like when we were testing the network state app, like it's okay, I trust people around the developers, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's delegate some access. And so then now they can bridge, let's say, Discord to that app, and to was it like OpenSea or something, and they can create like they can award badges, NFTs and stuff like that. So I mean, it's maybe sounds like trivial, but I think that the core concept here is like, yeah, this if the trust is low, and if the current, like, let's say, establishment betrays your trust, and they are not like good stewards of I don't know, public resources, or they like bankrupt the economy. So then you do like Martin Luther, like you break glass, and you decentralize, like you I don't know. That's also how Balaji talks about it. Like it's like decentralization is like some kind of like emergency button or something like that. When the trust is lost. But what you want at the end, you don't want to have some kind of crypto anarchy only, or something like that. So Balaji talks like about how crypto anarchy is better than just anarchy, or anarcho tyranny as another kind of concept he talks about a lot, where you pay for what you pay for protection, but you get none of it. It's like the regular good citizens are being punished, but the criminals are walking scot-free, like in San Francisco, for example. But what you want is some kind of like re-centralization, like sufficiently decentralized kind of effectively decentralized kind of system or society, and you need high levels of trust for it. So I think that's the one of the main points here as well.
Okay, that's really an interesting perspective. Thank you so much for joining me today, Jakub. It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thanks, Duke. The pleasure is mine. Take care.
Take care too. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. If you enjoyed listening to Mtambo Desk podcast, don't forget to subscribe, give this episode a thumbs up, and be sure to come back next week for another episode. Until then, this is Duke Mtambo, and don't forget to do good always.